Hello artists. We're going to be using a simple piece of copy paper, maybe printer paper, to make some snowflakes. This is a rectangle and we need a square. If you have origami paper at home, you don't need to do this step. That's already cut into a square. To make an easy square without measuring, without using a ruler, you're just going to take one corner and fold it up to the edge. Line up that edge right there, and when you feel like you have the edge pretty well lined up, hold it with your fingers, slide your thumbs, fan them out, and you've got a triangle. This excess is what we're going to cut off. I'll hold this with my left hand. I'm a righty. Just do the opposite if you're a lefty, and that will secure one page against the other, and I'm going to trim off this extra edge. If you would like, there's another video in my set where you cut this into thirds, and if you make a bunch of snowflakes and you have a bunch of these strips left over, there's a three-dimensional snowflake you can make with these leftover strips. All right, you've already done the first fold, so if you're joining us with an origami sheet, you want to take one corner and fold it to the other corner. You've just created what we call in geometry a right triangle. A right triangle has a right angle on one of the three angles. A right angle is a 90-degree angle, and if you think about it like a wall and the floor, that's where a right angle occurs, 90 degrees right there. I love math. So I like to think of right triangles like a gymnast who's sitting on the floor and has their legs spread in a 90-degree angle, and then they bend that way and they bend that way. Maybe you've done that in PE. In math, we actually call these two sides the legs. And this long side is the hypotenuse. That's an awesome word. And we want to make our next fold on the hypotenuse, on the long side of our right triangle. So you're going to take one point of the hypotenuse and fold it to the other point of the hypotenuse, the long side. Excellent. When you match those points up, hold the points, slide your finger back and across. And guess what you've made? Another right triangle. Leg, leg, and the hypotenuse. Now, we've done two folds. Let me back up. If you open it up, woo, come on. If you've done two folds, can you see those shadows? You've got point to point and point to point. That's what we've done so far. 1, 2. On this right triangle, we are no longer going to go point to point on the hypotenuse. We're still going to fold up there, but we're going to go into thirds. And this just takes some practice. So our goal is to make this sort of ice cream cone looking thing, or if you've seen the, I think that looks like the emblem on a Pontiac vehicle. But that's our goal, is to make this. So we're going to fold in and in, not to the edge, and it just takes practice. I'm going to take one of my points on the hypotenuse and fold it past halfway. You can kind of see past halfway. I want to make sure the fold goes down to the point, and I'm going to gently press. I'm not really going to crease it too much because I might not have made it perfectly. And I'm going to fold this guy over top. Yeah, see what I did? Too much. Can you see that? Too much. So I need to go back, fold this a little bit farther because I had too much on this one. So I'm going to go a little bit farther. That's why I didn't crease it too much. Now I can push down hard, confident that this is going to be correct. Okay. Good enough. So those are thirds. You're taking one point of the hypotenuse, going past halfway, creasing. Take the other point of the hypotenuse, fold it over top, and crease it. If you flip it over, you get a nice line right here. I do have a video in my playlist showing a much more precise way to do this. If you are all about precision, please watch one of those easy snowflake videos. I think both of the ones on my YouTube playlist show a more precise way. I just like to eyeball it. Take some practice, but you get pretty good at it. All right, the next step is just to make some fun cuts in your snowflake. So this is going to be the middle of our snowflake. This is the outer edge. You can cut into both sides. Just know that if you cut all the way through from this side to that side, the rest of it's going to be gone. So I'm going to make some fun cuts up here. I'll trim that off, and I'll trim that off. You could make it rounded on the edge. I might, let's see, I'm going to trim something off here, and I might make a design in here, and just little cuts, kind of removing paper, creating air in your snowflake. Let's make a triangle. And I have no curvy things, so over here I'm going to make a curvy cut, like a half circle thing. Now if I leave the center, let me push this out of the way so you can see. If I leave the center hole, I did not cut that center point. And my pro tip is, as you unfold it, fold each fold backwards to flatten your snowflake. So I'm unfolding very carefully, and each time I unfold, I fold backwards. So this is where I just unfolded. I'm going to fold it backwards. And one more. This long fold, I want to fold backwards, and then it will lay flat. That's what it looks like. And that's really in nature what a snowflake looks like. It's got 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I did not cut the center out, so my center, when I unfold it, is fully whole. And I can fold this back up if I change my mind. Remember how I did this. There, there, thirds. Whoop. Come on. And thirds. That's tricky. If I want to, I can cut maybe on an angle. And then that takes out the center and leaves an interesting shape in the middle. Let's do one more. I've already folded this guy up, and I said you could do a rounded edge like that. And then you can even cut into that rounded edge. Let's take out a big chunk of that rounded edge. I don't know what you would call that shape. Oh, look, I didn't quite cut through, so I'm going to recut just a little bit. There we go. And then I might take off some little triangles on this side, a couple of those, 1, 2. Remember, don't cut all the way through. If you cut all the way through, you'll cut your snowflake in half. And some triangles on this side. The more you cut out, the lacier your snowflake will look. And I think I'm going to cut out the center of this one again too, but this time I'm going to cut, can you see what I'm doing? Up and up like that. I made a little V-cut there. Let's see what this looks like. It's always a surprise. No two snowflakes are alike. So there you go. That's a different outside looking edge from the first one I made. And when I did just an angle cut, I got a simple star, and when I did a V-cut, I got this really neat center. I hope you will make lots of snowflakes. The thinner the paper, so just a copy paper, even a tracing paper would make a nice snowflake. The thinner the paper, the easier. Construction paper is not advisable for this type of snowflake. I hope you'll check out my other videos that I've made for 3D snowflakes and some of the links to other artists' snowflakes. Have a great time.